Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope that you are all well and stay healthy, take care of yourself and your family, and welcome back again to our course, Advanced English Grammar. The topic for this week is noun clause, as I explained before. This topic will take 2 weeks time, and also will be graded as 2 weeks too. So if you finish the discussion forum, it will be considered as 1 attendance, and if you finish the second exercise or the second assignment, which is exercise, you will be graded for 2 attendance. Okay, so in this video I'm going to explain to you about the noun clause, and I hope that if you have the question, I hope that you can ask via discussion forum or in our group chat. So let's check out the material. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So you're now going to discuss about the sentence structure part 2, which is noun clause. But before going to the discussion about noun clause, I'm going to remind you again about the interrogative sentence. This is the common interrogative sentence, the general and usual one that you can see. So the forming question word question or interrogative sentence with question word should the form should be like question word, auxiliary verb, subject, main verb, and reminder. Okay, so let's see the example. Where did the train stop? Where is question word? Did is auxiliary verb. The train is subject. Stop is the main verb. And then why was the policeman waving the flag? Why question word was the auxiliary verb. The policeman is the subject. Waving is a main verb, and the flag is remainder. Okay, so this is just the common or general, interrogative sentence with question word, with this question word. Okay. So now we're entering the complex sentence discussion. Before the previous discussion or the previous topic is sentence structure with a simple sentence and compound sentence. So besides simple and compound, there is also complex sentence. It said complex sentence because it's complete and complicated. So, but it doesn't mean that we cannot learn on or understand or conquer this, because of course we can. That's why I want you to really pay attention to this explanation. Okay, so complex sentence has independent clause and at least one dependent clause. Okay, so complex sentence includes one independent clause or at least one dependent clause. Complex sentence are 2 or more clauses joined together, but they are not joined by fine voice. Bukan lagi kita tidak menggunakan fine voice lagi atau coordinating conjunctions. They are joined by subordinating conjunctions. So let's see. Subordinating conjunctions are these. So after, although, even if, unless, while, though, before, etc., etc., you can capture this, and you can also remember when making a sentence. So there are 3 types of complex sentence. The first one is noun clause, which our discussion in this meeting, and then adjective clause and adverbial clause. So we are entering the noun clause. Let's see the definition. A noun clause is a dependent clause that acts as a noun in a sentence. So noun clause act as a noun in a sentence. Noun, of course, can be used as subject, direct object, indirect object, object of preposition, subject complement, or appositive. So noun clause may seem long, but the function is same with noun in a sentence. Okay? So noun clause connectors. Let's see, noun clause connectors can be various words. It can often begin with pronouns, subordinating conjunctions, or other words. The introductory word generally has a grammatical function in the sentence. Interrogative pronoun who, interrogative adjective what, and interrogative adverb how. Okay, so let's see the relative pronouns: that, which, who, whom, whose, that. Indefinite relative pronouns: whoever, whomever, whatever, whichever, whether, and if. And then the subordinating conjunction: how, if, when, whenever, where, whether, and why. Okay, let's see the sentence. Here, I know when he will arrive. I'm concerned about when he will arrive, and when he will arrive is not important. Okay, let's see the explanation one by one. I know when he will arrive. So this here in the example above, there are two clauses: I know and he will arrive. Okay, so this clause is joined by a connector when. When changes the clause he will arrive into a noun clause that function as the object of the verb know. So this is when change this as the subject of as the object of this sentence. So subject, verb, and object. Okay, and the object or the noun clause we can also see one by one. For example, like this is the subordinating conjunction, subject, and verb. Okay, next, I'm concerned about when he will arrive. So the noun clause as object of preposition. What is preposition? Preposition is about, on, of, in, at, etc. Okay, so after preposition should be noun. So that's why here noun clause as object of preposition. In the example above, there are two clauses: I am concerned and he will arrive. The clause joined by when. I'm concerned and he will arrive. This joined by when. So he will arrive become the noun clause because by adding when, and function as the object of preposition about. Okay. Next, when he will arrive is not important. In the example above, it is more difficult. Of course, it's more difficult because, as we can see, noun clause as a subject, we cannot see the main subject of this sentence because it's too long, because it's in the form of noun clause. So there are two clauses, but they are a little harder to recognize. He will arrive is one of the clause, ini kan? And then the connector when changes into a noun clause. Dia mengubah he will arrive menjadi noun clause that function as the subject of the sentence. So this is the subject of the whole sentence. So this is subject, okay, and this is verb B, and this is the object. Okay. Next, the form. So let's see the form. As object, the form is subject, verb, connector, subject, verb. I know what you did. And then as the subject is more difficult because this is the subject, the whole subject. So non-connector, subject, verb, verb, because this is the subject and this is the object. Okay, Okay, great. So let's see another example of noun clause as direct object. She knows what my name is. I noticed where they were going. And then the noun clause as a subject. What she's doing is not known. And what she said is not clear. Where she lives is not considered. Okay? And then noun clause as indirect object. I will give whoever gets the best mark a new calculator. So this is in the indirect object, yeah? Martha will give whoever she sees there her old bag. Okay. Noun clause after linking verbs be, become, seem, and look. The taste of the soup wasn't as we expected. This is not what they want. You look what you claim to be. Okay. Now here, besides all of those complexity of noun clause, the connector can also be function as subject. Okay, so let's see. In some WH questions, the question asks for the subject. Who came last night? As you can see, there is no subject here, but who. So this acts as subject. Who is the subject? In that case, the question word becomes the subject of the noun clause and the connector. I want to know who came last night. For another example, What made that noise? Okay. So let's see the other example of the noun clause connector or the subordinating conjunction as subject. The list can be who, whoever, what, whatever, which, and whichever. So the noun clause as subject, we can see I know what happened. So we cannot see subject here because the connector act as the subject. And then here, noun clause as subject, what happened was great. What is the subject? Happen is the verb. Was great is the main verb. Okay. I hope you understand. If you have a question, please ask in our group chat. Another example, noun clause as the object of the verb. I don't know what is in the box. So what become the subject and is become the be. And then we are concerned about who will do the work. So who is the subject in this noun clause? And then whoever is coming to the party must bring a gift. So as subject, the connector is also become the subject. So this is the noun clause as subject and this is the verb. Okay. Now, after learning about the positive sentence, the negative sentence, and also the connector as subject and noun clause as subject, we come to the third complexity or another one tricky part of noun clause, which is noun clause in interrogative sentence. So let's see. This is the example questions from the beginning of this video. As you know, question word, auxiliary verb, subject, main verb, and remainder. So, for example, how are you? How question words are auxiliary verb, you subject. Why did you do that? Why question word, did auxiliary verb, you subject, do main verb, and that remainder. And then next, who is that girl? Who is question word, is auxiliary verb, that girl is subject. When did you arrive at the station? When is question word, did auxiliary verb, you subject, arrive main verb, at the station remainder. What do you like to eat? What question word, do auxiliary verb, you subject, like to eat main verb. And then where did you meet him? Where question word, did auxiliary verb, you subject, meet main verb, and him remainder. So that's all the common or regular or very usual interrogative sentence. Okay, now we want to make an interrogative sentence with noun clause. So let's see. So this is the form. Question word, auxiliary verb, subject. I put the bracket here because the noun clause can replace subject. And verb and then object because object can also be replaced by noun clause. So I put the bracket here with noun clause. And noun clause, as you can see, question word, subject, and verb. Okay, let's see the example. Noun clause form from interrogative constructions are used to embed questions into the grammatical structure of the main clause, most frequently as a direct object or prepositional complement. For example, here, two sentences. My professor clarified, plus who was the guest speaker? And then my professor clarified who the guest speaker was. Okay, so the question here become the positive and the structure be here or auxiliary verb after the subject. Okay, so as you can see here, the noun clause is not in the interrogative sentence. Okay, so that's why it became the positive structure again. And then next, his father asked him, what was he thinking? His father asked him what he was thinking. So it's again become the positive structure or positive form. Okay, let's see here. Now here, there are two sentences for each. There are two correct or incorrect side of this sentence. So for example, how do you know who she is? How do you know who is she? So which one is the correct one? I want you to pause and try to read and guess which one is the correct one. Okay, let's see the answer. So all of the first sentence here is the correct one, because the question here is how do you know, and who she is not the question, but how do you know. So if you change the structure, who is she, it's incorrect because it's not noun clause anymore, because the noun clause is positive structure, positive form. Okay? So the question is how do you know, not who is she, but how do you know who she is. Okay? And then the next one, where did you meet the girl who helped you? Because this is the positive and this is the question. And remember to put the punctuation here in every sentence if you want to make a question. Okay, next. Okay. Do you know where mom bought the milk? Do you know where did mom buy the milk? So all of this should be in a positive. So mom bought the milk is positive, not where did mom buy the milk? And that's why this is wrong or incorrect. And then do you know why she always wears her head backwards? Is the correct one. And not the why does she always wear her head backwards. And then when will you meet your teacher who taught you math? Is the correct one. And not when will you meet your teacher who did teach you math? Okay, so these are all the explanation. I want you to have the practice of the correct or incorrect sentence in the exercise, and then I want you to discuss all of the complication, all of the complexity, and in the discussion forum. So I hope that this explanation is clear. If you have the question, please ask in the group chat or in the discussion forum.
Okay, so that was our material for this week. I hope that you can get the knowledge and also the best grade and also the attendance, because the two assignments, which is discussion forum and exercise, will be graded as 2 attendance. So I will see you again next week. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.